Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the red flags of coaching. We have seen all of the scaries out there when it comes to coaches and the unrealistic expectations that they share and tell their clients are going to lead them to. So we're going to give you a list of things to look out for, as well as the positive things and the traits that you should be looking for in a coach. So if you're ready, listen up and lean in as we elevate your mind.
There you go.
Yay!
That took us a couple times.
Four.
Or her a couple times.
Yeah, it happens.
It does.
You know, but
well, it's hard to riff off.
It is. I'm not a riffer.
You're more of
not a big riffer over here. Okay, so I didn't make a mistake. It was kind of it was just an eye opener of how busy I am, even though I know I talk about this all the time. I am working on a little craft project for my best friend's wedding, which is
next weekend,
coming Friday. And I did all of the work to get it set up.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I have all day today to do it.
You didn't.
I did not.
Yeah.
Not until Mark and I were going to get yogurt last night.
Ooh, yummy.
Yeah, we got frozen yogurt. We do
Where
this.
do you guys go get your frozen yogurt?
Just here. I don't know what it's called. It's
off
like,
Glendale.
Glendale. Yeah.
I used to work there.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What's it called then?
I don't even know.
Toyo or something?
Zoyo. No. Zoyo. Yeah, there we go.
We do a thing where we order the Victoria filet, a baked potato, and salad from Outback.
Yeah. We went to Outback the other weekend.
Yeah,
too.
we order it. We get it to go. It said "Stake me home tonight" on the bag, and I thought it was hilarious. I mean,
what band sings that song?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Oh, but I was name that tune. Where's Dustin? Yeah. Dustin listens. Dustin
does that? He would know that one.
Yeah, he and I were gonna go on Beat Shazam.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a show.
Oh, okay.
It was like a game show called Beat Shazam where they played the music, kind of like the party.
Game that you guys play. Okay.
So we did our Outback. I took a nap during the day. I didn't shower until like 3.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It is, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I worked out. I walked. I was stinky.
Sometimes I
don't want to do it.
Yeah, same.
I don't want to shower. Took a nap with the dogs. Then hung out. Watched the baby reindeer show that I was talking about. Yeah. And then realized, I did not think of this correctly. But I woke up this morning, got some of it done, and was able to get to my nail appointment. Did you see my nails?
Yeah.
Got my nails.
Why the green?
Because my
bridesmaid's
dress is green.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How many bridesmaids are there?
7.
Wow.
7 or 8.
Adrienne, you have a lot of friends.
She does. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8.
8?
Yeah.
Holy.
So.
Wow. That's a lot. How many did you have?
None.
Yeah.
I didn't have one.
I was going to just have one. That was it.
We had our nieces and nephews come next to us.
That
was his idea. So yeah, that's what I did. And then woke up. Yeah, I already said what I did. Woke up. No.
Now me.
What'd you do?
Friday we went and saw Bill Burr. We went to sushi and then we went to Bill Burr.
Nice.
And yeah, it was good. So I've seen him before. And
They're keeping the comedy club open single-handedly.
No, we went to it was at the Arizona Federal Theater down. It wasn't at the usual place.
Yeah.
And I had seen him once before, but for me, Bill Burr, he's funny, but he yells a lot. And like, he just screams sometimes. And to me, I'm like, I don't like that, but I'm not much of a screamer yeller. So, I was a little hesitant to go again, but Michael really likes him. So I was like, I'll just get the ticket. Like, he does a lot of what I like to do. So I was like, okay, like we could do this. And so we went and it was great. He was actually really funny. He did a good job. It was maybe it started at 7:30, but I mean, probably started around 8. We were out of there by 9:30. So
that's nice.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so it was just him. He had like an opener that was okay, and then yesterday was Saturday. What did I do yesterday? Oh, I went to breakfast with a girlfriend.
Where'd you go to breakfast?
We went to Sunshine Kitchen Bar. It's off Cave Creek in the 101. It was pretty good. I got steak and eggs, which with a side of avocado. And they do scalloped potatoes, but without the cheese.
Oh,
so I was
like crispy.
Yeah,
yum.
And I was like, how do you make those? You must they probably pre-scallop cook them on the pan. I don't know, but I was like, I need to figure out how to make it.
Okay, can we talk about my fry snobbiness?
Your what?
Me being a fry snob.
You know what actually sidebar, but you know what I learned today?
What?
I was listening to a podcast. There are 19 ingredients in McDonald's French fries.
Ew.
I know.
Well, I'm a fry snob.
Are you? You know it's good cheesy fries is Outback.
Let's get back to that. So I do not want anything but salt on my fries. I also don't want them double fried. I don't want that thick fry coating. I want like in and out, in the fryer once, salt, done. I don't want seasoning. I don't want double fried. I don't want, no.
I didn't even know double fried was a thing.
Yeah, that's when it has, you know, when you look at a fry and it has kind of that like thicker.
I don't really have a lot of French fries.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
I know. I'm sorry.
I do like, so I used to work for 3 weeks. I worked at Texas Roadhouse.
Oh.
Yeah. And they had the thick French fries, no seasoning, just salt, but then you get the cheese on them and bacon. Yum.
I used to work at Outback and I would.
You worked at every place I went to yesterday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mems. In grad school, I worked at Outback and I don't know if they did a double fry thing because I never had them then, but I used to be, and sorry if you do this and you're listening, but people would order the cheese fries, the whole, because you could get a whole serving or a half serving, whole serving as their meal.
Oh, geez.
And I would be like, and this is back in my like eating disorder, paleo, CrossFit, like multiple times. And I'd be like, okay. And I'm just thinking like.
Judger.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking like side of tomatoes. Like, please.
Don't be judging people.
I know,
You're at
but
Outback. You're not
like,
a protein house.
I know, yo. It's like, oh my, but I
read the room,
well, because
Amanda.
like, the fries themselves are like 1,000 to 2,000 calories. And I would just be like, holy
the bloomin'
shit.
onion, isn't that a whole situation?
Yeah, that's a lot of calories too.
I don't
want a fried onion.
I'm a fry snob and I will be the chick. Do you double fry your French fries?
Really?
Yeah. I don't want garlic. I don't want parsley. I just want to taste the damn potato. That's it.
Yeah.
I want to taste the potato. I don't want seasoning. I only love the waffle fries from Chick-fil-A because they taste like a potato. But if you get waffle fries from, say, I don't know where.
Whataburger?
Sure. They taste weird. Pisses me off.
We should have Michael tell us about fries. He would be a good judger. Or your husband. Because I was like, well, what are you making? He's like chicken nuggets. And then he had like a side of like Cheetos. I was like, oh, good for you, dude.
Yeah. We do baked Cheetos. And then we have the Costco chicken nuggets.
Those are good.
Or the Real Good Foods chicken nuggets.
I've had both.
Love.
And I really, really like those.
In a clutch, man.
Yeah.
We should do an episode on just how to be healthy when you're busy as shit.
That's true.
Yeah.
And like, but how to choose
like easy to prepare stuff.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people think with eating, they have to like make it this eating healthy, we'll say. They have to make this like exorbitant thing. And I'm like, honestly, you need grilled chicken or just baked chicken or even easier, Instapot chicken. Or
chicken tenders.
Throw in some sweet potatoes for the week, wrapped in foil, put them in the fridge, and there's your meal.
Right. Or like, I do a lot of frozen. I do frozen sweet potatoes. I do frozen.
Do you?
Yeah. And I just throw them in the air fryer. Frozen.
Yep.
5 minutes. Boom. So during the week, I'll put Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes in the air fryer with either some avocado oil or I'll put maple syrup on them.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I'll just cook up the meat. The meat takes about 4 minutes. That takes about 5 minutes. And I put it together and I actually put Dijon mustard in it too.
Yeah. That's I'm like, get some ground turkey or ground beef, just cook it.
Like, but even then, there's like the Kevin's meals.
That's true.
There's a lot. Let's save it for that episode.
Okay.
But yeah, let's see. We've got the wedding coming up, which I feel so anxious today.
For the wedding or just
I don't know. I think it's just, so the week is shorter.
When
I think
do you
I have
leave?
Wednesday night.
Ooh. You guys are driving there.
We have too much shit. So yeah, I just feel a bit anxious and I don't know why.
Do you make lists when you're anxious? That's what I do. I'm a lister.
No, I might eventually. Yeah, I just feel like anxious and excited and like, you know, my best friend, I know you're listening.
A great couple too.
Great couple.
I really enjoy her, and
She
I
is
really
a-
enjoy him.
She does not want, no, how do I say this? She's a bride who is kind of a do it on her own.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you have 2 maids of honor.
Yeah.
Like a maid of honor and a matron of honor.
Yeah.
Let us do the things. Then I have a speech.
Oh.
And I've been other than family weddings and 2 weddings, both weddings, I was maid of honor. Okay. And my last speech, which I was 25 doing, was
there it is.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Oh, you weren't drunk?
No.
Oh, I thought you would.
Oh, no. I was like, no, I am not getting drunk.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to, because you have like champagne and stuff, while you're getting ready. And I'm so, how I feel about speaking.
Yes.
That I want it to be mic drop. Wow. That was amazing. And it's a whole situation. It's a whole situation.
Yeah.
Like my speech has like crowd participation.
Yes.
So I told Erica, I was like, I'm probably not going to have much until after that speech is done.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Just because I want it to be really special.
Yeah.
And so
I would say I did the same for my girlfriend's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I was like it's been a while, like 3 years ago now, because I was her maid of honor. And so on the rehearsal, I was like, I'm just here. Like, what do we need to do?
Right.
And thankfully, which was great, because I've been to weddings, like we didn't have to really do anything, like no setup, no takedown or anything like that. And so then the wedding happened, and then whatever happened, like I think we had some mimosas or something like that, but like, okay, so you have 2 and then you don't have any for another 8 hours.
Right.
So then wedding ceremony, then rehearsal, or not the rehearsal, reception. And then once I did my speech, Michael and I got hammered. Like it was yes.
So you're like, it's over.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like it literally felt like, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm free. Like now I can do it. Like I can like everybody, but at that point, everybody else is kind of already hazed out.
Right.
So you don't look as much of a drunk because they're already so drunk.
That's
so
true.
I was like, oh, thank God.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's like people I know. So I'm not worried about talking in front of them.
No.
Before I'd be like, oh, what if I don't give a shit. You stand up here and be a phenomenal speaker.
Yes.
You won't.
Well, and you've probably spoken to a crowd that large, if not larger, before.
Right? I don't know. I mean, the first wedding was like 300 people.
Oh.
Yeah. They're very connected.
Yes.
So, and after that speech, I had strangers come up to me like, great speech.
Like, thank you.
I'm like,
my name is Christina Hathaway.
Here's my card. I think too, a part of my anxiety is, so last year, so I'm opening up the business side of things. Last year we were crazy busy because of Mind Pump, of course. When I did the numbers, it was, majority Mind Pump referrals and then referrals from our own clients and then some from social media. And as I've talked about, I'm really working on opening up like just more funnels into the business so that we never get into a lull. And I have these calls with potential clients, and, the past 3. So one was, she said up front, like I have a couple other coaches I'm going to talk to. And I said, okay, well, I need you to understand how we're different and our price point is different because you're getting the, psychological curriculum, you're getting customized coaching. Right. Like this isn't just your coach off the street.
Yeah.
The other was, well, I think I need someone in person.
Fair.
And I said, that's great, but let's look at your schedule.
Yeah.
Does that fit into, because she's in sales, like does going somewhere at the same time every week fit into your schedule? Plus she's got some medical stuff. Like how does that look, and really trying to, explain and people out there who are in sales, like, well, you're not explaining the value. You're not explaining the value of the program, which we do. However, it needs to be explained. And this is no offense to these 2 individuals, but at such a like 5th grade level,
right,
that people get it. Cause it, even another person was like, well, I'm in therapy. Well, if you're in therapy, why the fuck are you doing the same shit over and over again?
Right.
Help me understand that. Help me understand why you're giving me these excuses, but you just told me you're not seeing the results you want to see.
Right.
So if you're in therapy, are we talking about the underlying issues and how they come out in your behaviors, right? You're looking, and sometimes it's just people are looking for, yes, cost is an issue. Let's talk about the 4 fears of coaching, okay? So you have a fear of the past.
Yeah.
You have the fear, well, it didn't work out in the past, right? You have a fear of the future. You know, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can keep up with it, right? You have fear of yourself. Like, how are you standing in your own way?
Yeah.
And you have fear of the process, right? And so that's why we created the mindset method to really streamline down the process to help people understand, okay, the first step is this. We're going to, you know, bring you into our coaching program, and we're really going to learn you.
Yeah.
Because I can't help you change any of these things. I can't help you see the results you want to see until I understand you.
Right.
Right. In regards to fear of the past, you know, trying to explain to people, you're trying to make an apples to apples comparison. But what we do is add in the mindset and the, you know, unmet needs component. That is a piece you've been missing. So how can we be scared? Yes, being scared of something you haven't done is scary, but let's not compare it to the thing you used to do, because it's not the same.
Yeah.
Right. And fear of ourselves. As skilled coaches in this area, we're able to say, I see you doing that thing.
Right.
Does that resonate with you? Oh yeah, you're right. I'm doing the, you know, self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Right. So we acknowledge the fear of self. So I thought we'd talk about like some coaching red flags.
Sure.
Because people tend to, you know, another fear is obviously cost. They're like, oh, well, this is more affordable for me.
Right.
However, it's doing the same fucking thing. And you're working with someone who's keeping you fucking stuck.
Right.
So I thought we'd talk about some red flags of coaching.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you should go through a coaching program. And yes, we've talked about it. It may take you a year or 2 years. It's going to take you a financial investment for that amount of time so that for the rest of your life, you don't have to fucking waste your money on anything else. But you keep wasting your money because you keep being attracted to this new little shiny object who, you know, is the skinnier version of themselves or the big assed version of themselves or whatever version. And you're like, oh, yay, new shiny new thing. Let me try it. And you don't see the red flags. So that's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think, I have for me, like on coaching call or like not onboarding, but like clarity calls. Yes. Like it's hard because there's so many methods of doing the calls, right? And not just from like our side, but like you sit back and you let them discuss. And I'm like, yes, but they also need to understand like the value. So how do I talk so much of the value without interrupting them, without shutting down their feelings so they can understand like, this is what you're telling me. This is how I can create the value for you. And I try and do that. But what I often hear is the financial piece or like, I need help with, because I don't really know what I'm like for a newer person. I don't really know what I'm doing strength training wise. And I'm like, okay, that's something we can definitely do. This is how it could look. And I feel like a lot of times other coaches maybe aren't clear on what they exactly offer, because I've had the experience with some clients, they come on and they're like, yeah, I paid for this coach, but then I never heard from them. Or yeah, I paid for this coach, but like, I didn't really understand, like, I only got this thing. And so if I had questions, it came with another like $20 that I had to pay or something like that. And I'm like, well, all of that's included in what we're doing.
Right.
And so with red flags, there are so many, and it's hard, I think, for new people to it's like a job, right? The job always looks shiny and new and great when you walk in. And then you start realizing like, oh, there's a high turnover rate. Oh, this person's kind of an ass. Oh, the manager does not even talk to.
There's no organization.
There's no organization. There's no feedback form. And so I think you have to think of like, when you're interviewing a coach, because you should interview the coach, right? And you should ask what's included, what is not. To be so fixated on the prices, you're discouraging yourself, right? And yes, everybody should have a budget. They should know what they should work in. but what am I getting for my value? What does it look like long-term, not short-term?
Mhm.
Like, yes, is this person going to teach me how to strength train and do movements, but am I going to be able to walk away independently and be confident that I do that?
Well, and you talked about something like about me, specifically about buying my time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to figure out, a question I want you guys to ask yourself is, how much have you spent on coaching thus far?
Yeah.
Trainers, coaches, diet,
programs.
Yeah.
Apps.
How much have you spent thus far?
Yeah.
And in what amount of time? So say you're 41 like me, and you've been training for 20 years, and each year you buy, 2 products, which is probably way low, but we'll say 2, and they each cost, I don't know,
Add supplements in there
100.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
$100 each. That adds up over 20 years, and we're still stuck in the same place.
Right.
And now, do we want to spend another, whatever that amount is? You guys see how I dodged the math on that?
Not math people.
Yeah, not math people. Do the math for us. So, do you want to do that for the next 20 years?
Right.
Or do you want to invest in something that is going to actually create the change and create a foundation that you can take anywhere? That is the difference. We can keep doing the same shit over and over again and keep spending the money. And guess what? Just like inflation, that shit's going to get more expensive. You guys don't understand. So I have been in the fitness industry since 2010. Okay. I have been working as a therapist since 2010. Okay. I'm not a spring chicken to this. It's not a new thing for me. You've been training since
2012.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but in COVID, okay, let's open the curtain. Opening of the curtain. During COVID,
let's get the
becoming an online trainer was easy. And here's the interesting thing. It was easy. People were making a lot of money.
Right.
All of these online coaching programs came out that are like, oh, I'll help you hit 10K and this and that. I've seen people who still like live in I'm going to talk shit alert, live in an apartment and don't have any investments and don't have things, being like, let me help you build your business. And I'm like, okay. What businesses have you scaled and sold for how much? Right. But that became a thing too. So now not only do we have all these coaches coming into the field, but we have all these people are saying, here, do it this way. And the way that they were doing it was very like, oh, they made 10,000 in a month because I don't know, they sold a program or whatever. And they're saying you can make 10,000 too. So now they're attracting even more people. Now that person may have only made $10,000 in 1 month for the entire year. So keep that in mind.
Right.
But anyhow, so all this influx of coaches, we talked about certifications. Now the certifications we went through were very difficult. The NASM. Is yours NASM?
I have NASM, Precision Nutrition. I have Girls Gone Strong. And then I have one of the harder ones that I did was the Core Exercise Solution one, which is the pre and postnatal like corrective exercise specialist.
Yeah, that seems,
it's a PT made it.
Yeah,
our physical therapist made it. And so I was like, and it was highly recommended by the physical therapist that I work with. And so I was like, oh, I'll do it. And then I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of information.
And you're back in college.
Like, it's not like you can, like NASM's nutrition certification, you can skim through it. And it was like an open book test. This one was
the
like
PT certification.
You could not skim through it. Like the test was not hard, but the information was so relevant and so valuable that it was like, okay, like I literally sat down and did it by itself.
Oh yeah. I had like time for it. Anyway.
Yeah.
But during that time, people were getting quick certifications and, we, through social media, people figured out like what sold and, the progress photos, focusing on weight loss, focusing on outcomes, like that was a big thing. And, as time has gone on, we're seeing a lot of those people struggle in their business because they're not actually getting the results for people that they want. For us, we have a great clientele. We have great testimonials. We have, great people who are referring people to us. It's just now, you've got to realize, like, number one, what we're talking about today is going to eventually, it will naturally
weed itself out.
Yeah, because the shitty coaches will go away. However, some of these people have become so big,
right?
But they have this almost revolving door of clients. They don't have the, client that's staying with them. I did the math. Our average client stays with us for on average 10 months.
Oh,
yeah. What's up, guys? Quick interruption from our show sponsor, the Mindset Matter Coaching, and an invite to you to our absolutely free webinar mastermind on rewiring your mind, breaking free from compulsive eating and overtraining. In this webinar, you will get access to me, Coach Christina Hathaway, licensed mental health therapist, certified personal trainer, and nutrition coach, to walk you through every single step of the mindset method. But more importantly, you get to share your story. You get to share your struggles, and I get to coach you during this mastermind. And so if this is something you're like, yes, I would love to be coached by Coach Christina, I want you to check out the show notes below for our registration. The webinar will be on May 16th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I would love as many people as possible to attend. If you do attend live, we also will be giving away a free gift. So it's always a plus for you to be there. Obviously, again, I get to see your face. So again, that's May 16th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Now back to elevating your mind. So that's a good amount of time.
Right. Yeah. Because I think the average personal trainer lasts like 6 months.
Yeah. And our percentage of success was 60% based on how many new clients we had come in and the testimonials we've had from those clients being over a certain, like, I don't actually count 5-star testimonials. Yeah. So all of our clients do testimonials and feedback throughout their process, or they'll actually do a testimonial for us, or they'll write one, or whatever it looks like. So, we're doing really well in that.
Right.
But, COVID really infiltrated this space. The reason I brought that up is there's so many people out there, and they're willing to, charge. Some people are charging a shit ton without any value. Some people are charging nothing. And
see, that's what bothers me is the people who charge nothing. Mm-hmm. They make it seem like that's what it is. Well, the people who charge nothing and provide nothing, that is the value that you're getting. But the people who charge nothing, it doesn't necessarily mean that what they have to offer is of value.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Just because they're less expensive doesn't mean that's actually the right choice. And they could provide, nutrition and coaching at that price, but they're just underpriced themselves, or they don't understand the business too.
Right.
In that sense.
Well, and it's thinking about too, am I doing anything different than I've done before?
Yeah.
That would be your first red flag.
So just
a generic
cookie cutter.
Yeah. Am I looking for a new program, which is basically the same shit? Does this trainer offer the same exact shit that I could
essentially do on my own now?
Right. I hear it all the time. I know what to do. I don't know why I do it. Mm-hmm. Well, why don't we figure out why you're not doing it rather than you just keep fucking telling yourself that?
Right.
That's a underlying issue. It's not a behavioral or mechanics issue. My client the other day goes, if someone asks me how to lose weight, I know exactly what to tell them. I don't understand why I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
She's like, I know how to do it. She's like, I continue to hit this barrier that I can't. It's not going to work. Her own self-defeating beliefs. We had a really amazing conversation about, action and how to take action and habit stacking. And it was a whole thing. I won't get into it, but it ended up being this really awesome conversation where she's, able to step back and like, okay, I am taking action. I am doing the things. Yeah. My brain is telling me I'm not. I said, well, let's look at how many workouts you did this month versus last month. You've increased your workouts on average by 2. You did 4 last month. You did 6 this month. That's progress, right? Just because it's taking a bit longer, anyway. So we all know what to do. The question you need to ask yourself, and the first red flag if you're going into a new program or trainer is this different? Is this different than what I've done before?
Right. And so I think another example of that is purchasing another app-based thing. Mm-hmm. So like say I did app A and now I'm going to app B, but with app A, I didn't do the workouts consistently. I don't know why. Like I just couldn't schedule them. I didn't find the time, or I didn't know the equipment. App B is essentially the same. And now you're setting yourself up. It's the same thing. So what changed from map A to B that all of a sudden makes you understand the equipment, makes you understand the time, makes you understand how to arrange workouts so it fits within your schedule.
Right. Right.
So that's that's generic, or you can go into as far as like coaching, right? So if I did high hit intensity in cardio all the time with trainer A, now I took a break or I fall off the wagon, I stopped responding and they never really followed up with me. Now with this new coach B, they're a high hit intensity cardio person too. That's the same thing. So what is going to be different with this outcome or with this trainer?
And getting real with yourself, like, how has your life changed?
And you gravitate, I think in a client's defense, you're gravitating towards the same thing because it's comfortable.
Of course.
Right. It's really hard to challenge yourself and be like, okay, is this going to challenge me mentally, and really assess like these behavioral things that I've done over the, like, to get to that point takes another higher level of recognition and some, I don't want to say failures, but side streets. Like it takes time and kind of bumps in the roads for you to realize like, oh, I don't think this is working.
Right.
Like some clients have it like the first experience, great. But more likely than not, it takes multiple failed experiences to realize, okay, I can't just do this generic thing because I'm not figuring out how to do this at all.
Right. Well, and that brings up something we wrote down, which was, this kind of cookie cutter generic programs. Oftentimes, guys, if something is super affordable, it's not customized to you. I need you to understand that.
Well, I would say, like, put it in our perspective. If we have the on demand, it's $20, which is super affordable. Right. It's not custom to you.
No, it's the same workout for everyone. Now you get a bit more because I do 5 different types. So they have a gym workout and at-home dumbbell only.
Can customize,
right? Yeah, and if they have a gym day, but then they want to work out at home, they can do that. It's $20, right? And I set it. I have to do them actually probably today for the month. And that's it. And that's what you get from that. Whereas in our one-to-one coaching, it is completely customizable to the point where if you're traveling that week and going to a hotel gym, I'm going to create a hotel gym workout for you. We're actually going to look up the hotel. We're going to look up the equipment they have, and then I'm going to create a program around that. Or I'm going to take your current program and we have the ability to do alternate exercise. That's the easiest way for us.
Like, let's take Adrienne, for example, going back to wedding. So for her programming, leading up to it, it was 3 days a week, full body if she could. If not, she had at the office workout. It was like body weight and stuff like that. Very easily manageable, right? Because sometimes she literally was not getting to the gym. Right. And so it's like, well, then you need to do movement. Like, if this is your goal, we can do movement in the work office, wherever the warehouse. So now their conferences and all that stuff is done and we're getting closer. She's like, I really want to work on my shoulders and my back. Okay. So we've got these days for this. And then these 2 days are shoulders and back. So, and I'm going to focus on those exercises, but then I'm also going to look at my spectrum of what we have planned. So she's not doing too much and coaching her through, this is how we know we're doing too much. And this is the fine line and you need to be aware of it. Right. And so I'm checking in with her on that sense too.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, she's getting exactly what she wants, right? Exactly. Yeah. That's the words. Whereas if you go to a program that's, super duper affordable, most likely, unless they're brand new, it's going to be a cookie cutter program, but they might even market it as customizable training or whatever that looks like, because there's some aspect of it that you can customize, but there's no guidance. Like you're talking about, there's no guidance on their end. It's just, here's your program. I've been in programs just like, here's your macros, but what happens once you lose, 4 or 5
happens
pounds?
If I like more fats than carbs,
right?
That's
what happens, because you do have to adjust macronutrients as you lose or gain whatever that goal is. You do have to adjust them because when you lose weight, your resting metabolism goes down. So we need to adjust those as well. There was none of that. So that takes to the next conversation of communication.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I had the best compliment. My client goes, wow, I've been in some of the big names out there, programs, and nothing touches yours in regards to how you guys communicate.
Really?
Yeah. For you, it's like, this is normal.
Well, yeah, I always feel like I have had to tell myself I don't need to communicate as much. Like, I don't need to check in every day, right?
No.
Like, that's what, like, no, I don't need to.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes I feel like I need to, like, making sure, like, I'm still here. And so I've had to tell myself, like, there's also a responsibility on the client to reach out.
Yeah.
As well, but there is much of a responsibility on a coach, especially there's a lot more communication from me as a coach in the beginning, right?
Of course.
But then as they start to go into our graduation programs, again, the expectation is that as we've already worked through this stuff, we're able to self-manage it. And I'm here as your check-in, your support.
Right. Yeah. I had a client have a really hard time with that. She's like,
Really?
you didn't check in with me on Friday. And I'm like, well, you stepped down to this lower level program. Even when they first stepped down, I'm kind of, you know,
and then it's less and less.
Then it's less and less. And I don't feel like, you know, I have the conversation. I actually created a video for step downs so they understand the difference in the process. But I didn't feel like I needed, like, okay, now I'm not going to check in with you this weekend, you know, but it's the communication piece of knowing it's so awesome, you guys, when clients are struggling and there's someone on the other end.
Yes.
To say, I hear you, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it may be the next morning, you know, if it's at night. We're not always on our phones because we have to have our own boundaries, but to know that I get to process this sometimes right in the moment, sometimes, you know, a few moments later or the next day, and know that someone's going to respond to me, or, hey, I hurt my back today. I was, you know, I tweaked it. My kid, or one of the ladies, her dog was sick. So she slept in the dog bed and it hurt her shoulder. And so we flushed out our program right then and there to, like, you know, until she went to see a doctor, and we, you know, focused on upper body. And so having the ability to reach out when you're struggling, reach out when you need change, when you're like, hey, I'm going to this restaurant tomorrow. This is the menu. Can you help me with it?
Yeah.
Or, hey, again, I'm traveling. Can you help me on, like, one of my clients, we will look up, like I said, the gym.
Yep.
And, you know, what should I do? What changes can I make? And we make it for them. The communication piece is clutch. If at a minimum, you're not getting a weekly check-in of some sort, then what are we doing?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
You know, it's so funny because our minimum for our highest tier is at least 2 check-ins, right? Because they have the assignments, which then usually we're checking in about that and or some way or another. Like, I try and do like the exercise and the nutrition piece via the messenger. And then I leave the assignments for the call. And so it's like, okay, so you're at least getting 2 communication checkpoints per week, just based on what I find easier to manage. Because, like, I don't really need to talk about calories or this or that on the call unless there's questions about the nutrition base, because the assignments are going to be more important.
Yeah. I do it a bit different, where on Mondays, because I don't talk to anyone on Mondays, I'm always just checking how they did over the weekend. Then we have their call where we talk about the assignments. It just kind of varies, where we're talking about their exercise. You know, I will look over metrics on the call to show them how they're progressing and their movements, talk about any issues with nutrition, and then try to touch base with them depending on when their call is at the end of the week. So and, you know, that's if they are not texting us, which rarely happens.
Right.
Because then they get comfortable with being able to say, hey, this is what's going on. You know, I'm having a hard day, because now they trust that someone's on the other end. Where, again, when we're talking about in the beginning, what's different than before, they may have come into this program thinking like, oh, you know, this is,
they're feeling insecure about what they've done and who they are.
Like we said, fear of the past. Yeah. And then when they realize, oh, this bitch ain't going nowhere. Like, they're like, oh, okay.
Well, and she's not here to make me feel more insecure. She's not here to, you know, beat me down for a choice I made. Like, again, as I tell my clients, if I don't care you had the pizza, you don't need to care. Now let's work through why you care, though. Right? Because that's what's going to get to the root of this and give you the freedom you're looking for.
No, that's so important, because, you know, we talked about in the social media of just a lot of these programs and coaches are playing into your insecurity.
Yeah.
Your insecurity of, you
Are not enough.
not enough. You're not doing enough. You
Not
don't
doing
have
it right.
willpower. I've seen actual coaches have podcasts on this.
What?
Yes.
That's
There's
so
a girl, she's
sad.
very like aggressive about it. And, being the person watching that, like, oh, you already feel like shit about yourself. And she's telling you, you are a piece of shit. You need to do more.
Right.
My coaching's going to do that for you. Tell me the fuck how your coaching is going to change someone's thoughts about themselves. You're not. You are going to guilt them and shame them into doing something that then eventually they're going to be like, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. They're going to give up on themselves, but then you're going to tell them you're a failure.
Right.
And
that's what I was just thinking.
Right back.
I was like,
into it.
it's almost like they're paying for themselves to tell themselves how shitty they are.
Sadomasochism.
Yeah. Like, it's
Mhm.
like, let me pay for this person to tell me what I already feel.
Yes.
Because then it makes it more real.
Mhm.
Right. Because then it is proof that, I am a loser or whatever. I am lazy and I can't do this. You're right.
It's horrible. Or playing into the insecurities of
body parts.
Oh, yeah.
Us, like the moms.
I can't. And it's clickbait,
I get
the
it.
belly, the menopause belly.
Pooch.
That's the one that yours is the mom's, the baby
pooch.
body.
Yeah.
Get your baby body back.
What I did in 2 weeks. And I'm like, in 2 weeks, FYI, for the first 2 weeks after having a baby, what you're doing for exercise is belly breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. And trying to get your vagina back together. Jesus.
And eating and recovery.
Well, and that's, the insecurities of the body is huge. And again, I sent an email with the clients before and afters. I, under that email, said, we do not usually post before and afters. This specific client was like, post those motherfucking photos. And I was like, all right, if you want me to, I'm going to put a disclaimer.
Yeah.
But that, the progress photo after progress photo after progress photo.
Looking at the outcome.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's the outcome of like, you look like this too. But what if you don't? What if all that's going to do is feed into your own insecurities now?
Yep.
We will work on that part of it as well. You should not see a progress photo and feel like dog shit. We're going to work on that part.
Well, that's here. Again, if you see the progress photo and you don't like how you feel, let's work on how you don't like how you feel, right. Not the progress photo.
Right. And again, we'll sprinkle them in, and it's usually at the client's request.
Yeah.
But all that's showing is outcome based, where we are all about the process. And as I said, creating a foundation. Mm-hmm. I want you to be able to take this foundation, no matter what's going on in your life, turning dials up or turning dials down on your big foundation boombox, and change as you need. Not, okay, because what happens when we're outcome based, we become the testimonial. We've now been put on this pedestal, and we've got to sustain however we got there.
Right.
So that takes us into the other points.
Unrealistic
expectations. We're just rolling through them.
I know. We're doing a good.
I know. I didn't realize we have like bullet points for all the things we just said, and we just like flowed through them. The unrealistic expectations, right? Yeah. So now I'm outcome based, and I want to be the progress photo. So I'm going to do whatever the fuck I can to get there. Uh-huh. And this coach is just like, okay, here's your instant calorie drop. They haven't even looked at how much you're eating. Right. And for some of you are like
1,500 calories. You're like, I've been eating 12.
Right.
Like, oh, okay. Let's go to 11.
Right. Or, people are probably like, why? Because that's so normal. Like, why would they do that? I worked at a company where they did not even take any sort of anything in regards to tracking for a certain amount of time before they just put the person into the cut.
Wow.
Yeah. And obviously I know better now. And so in our program, we want to just see how you eat.
Yeah.
We want to see how you eat. Sometimes we need to reverse diet, most times, reverse diet you out of this hellhole of, metabolically fucked up food intake, and reverse you out of that. And then eventually get your body in a safe space. We talked about this on our last episode. Get your body in a safe space so then it's ready to go into a fat loss phase.
Yes.
But at a certain point, if your body doesn't feel safe, guess what? It's not going to get rid of its energy stores.
Well,
right?
if you've been in a fat loss phase, going into a fat loss phase isn't really the solution to a fat loss.
Correct. Correct. But they want to, give you these, again, I talked about like 1,300 calories on the cost of getting lean. That was given to me by a coach who had no idea what was going on with me prior to that. Right. She put me in death calories and I was training. I don't even think she took into consideration how much I was training. And I felt like absolute dog shit. And I mean, I don't remember. I think eventually I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own research. Actually, that's what happened. It's like, I want a reverse diet. And this was before reverse diets were sexy. I was like, I want to reverse out of this because I don't want to lose anymore. But she didn't know how to do that. So,
whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, she was a 2020 coach. Yeah. No. I'm lying to you. This was before COVID.
Either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
So these unrealistic expectations, these mad cuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many messages do we get? I had a coach put me on 1,100 calories. I had a coach put me on 1,200 calories.
All the time. Or they do it themselves too. Mm-hmm. And then they don't know like how to get out, like you said. But it's also it's emphasized by what they see on social media for that unrealistic, unsustainable, like these, because you could follow a coach and take what they're saying and apply it to you too, without necessarily paying for the product.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily that a coach put them on that, but they saw that information and took it and did it themselves too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's there's well, I mean, that in itself is frightening, but I was thinking of someone when you said that. It's Body by Bree. You may follow her. She does a lot of postnatal stuff. Mm-hmm. And she was talking about this the other day, and I actually commented on it where she said, look, that person that you see who goes out and, can eat more than you, can have the sweets, but they're still really strong. They're doing this over a long period of time. And she literally in this post talked about like how to reverse diet. Like if someone followed what she said, they would get to a good place. But what she's also talking about is it takes time. Like this takes time. Whereas the person you're talking about is the person who is quick. We haven't even talked about unrealistic expectations, the time limits. Time expectations. If it says in 8 months, in
60 days,
90 days, I'm going to do this for you, run the fuck away. Run away. You are only putting yourself in a yo-yo diet cycle that you will not sustain. It's unrealistic to put any timeline on your health because what are you going to die in 60 days? Like,
what's so funny is that we promise the almost opposite of this. And I don't know if that's funny or like bad for business or whatever, but we say, like, truthfully, we go, it's not going to take you 60 days. We're going to unveil a lot in 60 days. But and I think I don't know what episode we talked about this on, but you're really going to see what happens in 6 months. Because that's when the shit starts coming. Like within 6 months, there's something that happened in your family, your relationship, at work,
right?
Things happen. And so that's when you're actually going to see your outcome probably. Your progress or the process is happening. The progress is happening through the process.
Yes.
Your
absolutely.
Outcome happens in months from now when you least expect it.
Not years.
That probably has nothing to do with like you doing the gym or you doing the nutrition. It's what happens around those things. And so I think it's interesting that, and that's hard to convey to people, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of times they're coming to us or going to a coach when they feel defeated. They're feeling the insecure. They don't know what to do anymore. They've done all the things. Nothing works. And if someone is telling you, like even therapy, I can make you feel better in 3 sessions. You're like, fuck yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Not realizing the first session, you're just crying a lot, and talking about yourself. The second session, the therapist is trying to untangle everything that they learned about you. And then the third is kind of when you might start getting into it.
Right.
Like it's kind of the same thing where you have to realize like, if most things don't come within 60 or 30
you just
days
maybe think, I'm going to do a post on this. Let's think about anything that offers a time guarantee.
Oh, good idea.
So in 3 dates, you're going to love me.
It's love bombing.
That is love bombing. Run the opposite way.
Yes.
What else?
I had a guy the first time I met him, he was like, I just feel like you're just not very open, like to dating or like exploring. And I was like, I just met you. Like, I'm open to conversing
Yeah.
and seeing if I would even go with you somewhere.
Yeah. That
But-
you're a safe human being.
But I just feel like that's not necessary.
Yeah. So if that was the thing, what else?
Food.
Food. Oh, if you eat, these
5
apples.
Yeah, if you have 5 supplements, if you have these 5 supplements for the next week, you will feel this way.
Yeah.
And it's like, or maybe
not,
Yeah.
putting a time guarantee on, I'm just trying to think what a time guarantee
is
like,
relevant.
oh, you put money in the stock exchange. It's like, this money's going to look this way and this
Oh my
amount of money.
God.
Like, no,
Yeah.
you would not. But yeah, it's attractive if your financial advisor is like, oh, I'm going to double this money.
Right.
Guess what, guys? That's what there's a lot of people in prison for doing shit like that because they're probably fucking lying to you.
Yes.
What is these Ponzi schemes and such?
Oh yeah. I mean,
You
think
know?
of that.
I mean, that's true. Or the MLMs.
Yes.
You're going to make this amount of money if you do, time. That's a huge red flag. I'm going to do this for you in this amount of weeks
Yes.
or months. Don't fall for it. Please, please, please do not fall for it. A part of that too is now I've got these unrealistic expectations. I'm promoting your insecurities. I'm putting these, time limits saying you're going to reach this in 8 weeks.
Mhm.
What happens after 8 weeks? Especially because oftentimes you're not learning, as you said,
Right.
the process. We're not educating about why we made the decisions for you that we made. We're just, here's your macros. We're not educating on the choice of workouts that we're doing, how we phase them, how we would phase them after the 8 weeks so that
Why
your
a deload is important. Going
Right.
back to our last episode.
Right. Why deload is important. Why
Mm-hmm.
did I choose that rest time? We're not doing that. We're just like, here's your workouts, right? And then you get to your progress photo, testimonial. Yay, we celebrate you.
Bye.
Bye.
Or I'll take your money again.
Yeah. Or do you want to do another challenge?
And so let's flip side, devil's advocate this. There are some clients, and I have some that don't want to learn. They just want to, here, I'm paying you to do this for me. I don't want to learn. And I go, that's fine. But there's a delicacy between the client that says that and the way you approach that coaching wise, right?
Of course.
Because if I have a client tell me that, I go, that's fine. But I'm still going to explain why this is happening.
Mhm.
So that way you can at least understand.
Right.
And over time, that starts to plant a seed where they're starting to take ownership of the process and go, I remember you telling me this. Is that what we're doing again?
Ah.
Great. So now you have actually learned when you didn't want to.
Right. Well, and it's that communication, it's the touch, right?
Yes.
That, my the clients that are in our on-demand program, even though they get a group call each week, they don't get that touch
The
of
on-demand for the mind.
Yeah. So
'Cause that's
the
different than the-
Yeah. So we have a Mindset Matters on-demand program, which is solely our mindset method curriculum.
Uh-huh.
You've got the curriculum reflections every Monday, along with a journal prompt every day,
Mhm.
and then a weekly group call.
Yeah.
And we're going to start opening that up more so that the cohorts are just every start of the month, new cohorts. I talked to the current cohort about it, that I was like, do we take away the group call? Because I don't want to have cohorts. I'd like this just to be, so we're going to work on actually a program that's a step under that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That basically, if you do, it's totally 1000% self-guided. And if you have questions, there'll be a way to ask them here.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a good idea.
I know.
That's a good idea.
So here, talking about green flag coaches, a lot of what we do, we ask our own fucking clients.
Yeah.
We're like, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah.
How might this
The
help?
feedback.
Yes.
From what you have
feedback all
learned
the
from
time.
us, tell us what we can do better to increase your experience and your
Yes.
value that you perceive.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Because that's like, again, hopefully with the mindset cohort on-demand program, these people walk away with a better understanding mentally of the thoughts, behaviors, patterns they have around food and nutrition and health.
Right.
Great. We've provided that. Now, how can we continue to provide that so another group can come in and not feel reliant like you don't anymore? So we've given you the education and the confidence to be able to walk away and go, I know where I can go back for resources. It doesn't mean I have to stay with them for resources.
And that's the thing is, if your coach is giving you, cookie cutter plans or even a meal plan, you guys,
red flag. That's illegal.
That's illegal. Thank you. Only dietitians are allowed to do meal plans.
Who have gone to school and have like a master's.
Yes. That they're keeping you dependent on them. They're not teaching you. And that's why I said too, I don't like that what I eat in a day, because you should learn how to make your own meals. Right. You should learn how to cook in the way that makes sense for you, for your family, for your time, for your preferences. You should learn how to create your own programming. That doesn't mean, I have a lot of clients that can create their own programming. Clients that have been with us for over the 2-year period, but they're like, you know what? Time. Right. Do I know how to do this? Fuck yeah, I know how to do this. So much so they're like, hey, I see you did this. Can you put this in there instead? Right. I know they know what they're doing. They're just like, I don't want to cut my own grass. Right.
Or walking away, I would say, if we're not, I like to give clients who are ready to graduate and go on completely independent of what is our plan nutrition wise. So I make them, I need your nutrition plan for at least 8 months and let's work it out before you leave. If they're doing the nutrition aspect or both, if they're doing the exercise aspect or both, I go, what's going to be the program? Here's our options. Or I want you to find 5 program people that you gravitate towards. You're going to send them to me. You're going to tell me your top 3 and let's look at them. Yeah, absolutely. And see what you can find. Because like if it's marketed to women, high fat loss, quick hit, like quick fixes,
menopause workout,
pre-baby body back workout, like there are red flags in programming or like promotion that I want clients to be educated on, because again, in a year from now, if they're like, oh, that looks like an interesting program, I'd like to do it. Can you read through it and find the key words that you're looking for that are appropriate for you, as opposed to the shining object?
Right. The like marketing words. And, we just rolled out the Mindset Masters program, which is hands off really in regards to coaching. There is a coaching aspect to it, but it's, for that client who they want to, once a quarter, maybe they have a vacation or they want to get real strong. They can have someone actually, put together their nutrition coaching, and then they have access to the app and they have the community. But what we're not doing is, if at any point we recognize that person is still dependent on us, then we realize we haven't done our job.
Yes.
They should be able to ride without the training wheels. So let's just talk about the hierarchy of our program. So the initial program is high touch, meaning we talked about the communication piece. We are talking to them multiple times a week, whether it's on our call, in a reflection, on messaging. We're very much into their nutrition. We're looking at everything they're doing. We're very much looking at their exercise. Then they get through that program. They step down to what I say, training wheels off, right? And well, I would say, training wheels off, but we're still kind of, like your dad behind you, like, it's okay, I'll catch you if you fall.
Dad's riding the bike with us around the neighborhood.
Yeah, so we'll catch if you fall, right? So there's that program. And then from there, you can, and this is only by invite, you can go into the master's program, which is, we're not, we're around, but we're like having a fun bike ride together. Yeah. Like, we're not worried about you, but we're doing it together in a community setting because we like to ride bikes. One of the things that I find a lot of people struggle with is, I know what to do. I just need someone to tell me to tell me to do it. Like that accountability piece.
Yeah. Or like someone's going to be not watching and like being like mommy dearest, but someone who's kind of,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, okay. But I also think that is a bit of a distortion too. Like you should eventually learn how to not be dependent on that person. Right. Because let's talk about that particular statement. That I'm thinking of a person who reached out for coaching. So I know what to do. I just need someone to tell me how to do it. And I'm like, how many times have you hired someone to do that for you? Right?
That's
Right. So the dependence. So last one, did we go through? I feel
We
like we
went
went
through
through.
all the red
I know.
And we've kind of been going into green flags.
I know. Yay. And then lastly, it's that kind of concept of do what I do.
Oh yeah.
You know, I see a lot of women, especially I'll see women who are in the 40, 50 range who have been, you know, had amazing body transformations. That doesn't necessarily mean they know how to coach you on how to do it. You should probably hire their coach that coached them, right? Like, so it's crazy though. I'm thinking of one in particular who, I mean, she's made a good amount of money because she's like, oh, this is my body transformation. You can do it too. But it's like, how does that qualify you?
Yeah.
Because honestly, you probably had a coach doing that. Am I wrong to say that?
No, there's a chick that I'm thinking of. One of my clients, I should ask her who it is. She actually lives here locally. And she lost join me in my 100-pound loss journey. And she lost a significant amount of weight. And to me, I'm like, just again, because you lost the weight doesn't make you an appropriate coach for everybody. There's going to be certain people that gravitate towards that, but then she'll show you her meals and whatnot on there. And then she shows her progress. It's very much about her. And I'm like, well, where are all the people you're helping?
Right.
Which is fine because that might be how she wants to curate her social media, and people are attracted to the individual and they feel like they need to make a connection before they buy it. Like that's the kind of shit. But I'm like, but where are all the people that you've been helping? How could you say I've helped these amount of people, but I don't have any evidence of that?
Right.
And for me, so someone could come around, say at my social media, well, you do the same. And it's like, I'm terrible at it. I literally want the information there. I post so people still know I'm there. I know I could do it better. But it's to me, that's my clients don't come from social media.
Right.
My clients come from either your social media because we work together, or they come from providers in the Valley who refer to me as a person.
Right.
So it's literally there. So it's part of like the Google algorithm. And but when you're looking at somebody, like how do they talk about their clients? How do they show their clients progress other than just the pictures? Yeah. How do they say, this is what this client did, and this is what makes it different from this client? So how did Christina get here compared to Amanda? And how do I explain that and the difference and why this was important? Because what Christina and Amanda did probably has nothing to do with what Deanna did to her journey.
Right.
But if Deanna's only posting about her journey and you're thinking, okay, that's how we do it, then it has nothing to do with the client. It has everything to do with the coach.
Right. It's everything to do with the coach.
Yeah.
What the coach did to get there may not fit into your lifestyle, may not, fit at all for you.
Yeah.
And you brought up a really good point. And we try to do this. And I think, just saying it out loud makes me want to focus on it even more, is really focusing on, this is what we did with this person. Then this is how we did it differently with this person. We have a method, but that method is a structure for each individual's needs, right? Where it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's just, we understand how we take everybody's individual needs and help kind of organize it through the method, but it looks so different for each person.
Yes.
Right. And that's really, really important. So, we've talked about green flags already. First and foremost, it's customization. We need to know you. We need to know how you eat. We need to know what exercise would look like on your worst week, knowing what your minimums are, knowing what you can do. We need to understand how you got here in regards to your self-defeating beliefs.
Yes.
Right.
I think that's one of the more, the exercise, nutrition, fine, we can, but how did you get here? Because if I don't solve that, I can repeat what you've already done to get here, or further emphasize it too.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. Until you do that, nothing else matters. You will continue to pay for shit that doesn't work.
Right.
You will do it over and over and over again. I have had so many people not invest in our program only to come back having already invested that same amount they would have invested with us with 4 different fucking other people, not learning anything, wasting money, maybe even more, where they could have just invested in us.
Yeah.
And now we have different programs, so you can invest in different ways. Again, I talked about finding your minimums, finding what you can be consistent with, right?
Yeah.
Finding what works for you. Do you need a time crunch 20-minute workout on Wednesdays because that's your hard morning because you've got to do carpool? We create that for you, and then maybe the other days it's a 45-minute.
Yeah, this I think goes into our next point. So not only with the customization, but where you have to look at the whole client, the whole health, right? Because health is not just, as we've talked about before, nutrition and exercise. It's the sleep, it's the family dynamics, it's the environment, it's work, and not even, work might not be a 9 to 5. Work might be I'm a stay-at-home mom and then I work from 7 to 9 every night because my kids are asleep and that's when I can get it done. So it's taking the whole picture, and we've got to customize the puzzle pieces.
Right. You got to meet them where they're at.
Right.
You have to meet your client where they are at. We're not trying to fit this program, our life into a program.
Right.
We've got to fit a program into our life. And if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. Do you know what that's from?
No.
Oh my God.
What?
The O.J. Simpson trial where they put the thing on.
That was what, 90?
I don't know. I was in 6th grade.
Oh.
Were you not alive? Oh man.
No, I think I was.
Here we are.
Okay. Anyway,
this bridge.
So, but with that, so again, talking with something that we already did was finding the minimums at that time too. So you've got a kind of a 3-in-1 thing right here, right? A custom program that focuses on your whole health, but really looking, and you touched on this before, the bare minimums at that point too.
Right. What do we mean by bare minimums is what, as I've said before, what can you do on your worst week?
Yes.
Knowing,
1994 was O.J. Simpson.
Okay. When were you born?
91.
Oh, all right. Well, you should have been more cultured.
Born sooner.
You should have been more cultured at 3.
Yeah, my bad.
So he says, if it doesn't fit, you must have quit because OJ puts the glove on and it doesn't fit his hand, and that's how he got off.
A bunch of shit that like carbs and all that crap, and he didn't take his medication that day.
Oh, I don't.
So his hand got.
I don't know. That's smart though.
Oh, look at okay.
Yeah.
Sidebar.
Anyways, and then so yes, obviously our program does this, but guess what? I talked to Maverick about this. His program probably does similar things to this, right? Like these are the things you want to look at, and we associate ourselves with people who are like us.
Yes,
we know there's a lot of people out there who need the work and who need the help, and we want to always promote those who are promoting similar aspects of what we do. And the last thing is, again, it's not about outcome. You have to create a foundation. It's about what steps do I take on a daily basis to get here? And sometimes, guys, those steps include falling back. Those steps include binging. I just had this conversation with a client. She's like, I had a really hard day. I binged. I said, okay. She goes, but I came back and I adjusted. What'd she say? I adjusted some things and I'm back to my meals. I said, I want you to understand something very important. It's not the binge. It's what you do after. And you did exactly what you should do. And she's like, oh, I feel so much better about that. I said, yes. So it's the process of realizing that, because again, if we're working from this perfect fail place, which in that initial moment she was, and I took her right out of it. I said, no, we don't do that here. That's going to keep you the same. We do this. And she was able to actually say, oh, I'm doing something different, right? So now that's a part of the process. So then you can even get granular with that, but see how you did something different there? Can you celebrate that different thing? And when that thought comes in your head that I'm not doing it, I can't do this, you've just, look at all these wins we just talked about. Boom, boom, boom. Go ahead.
So that's not one of my things that I like. I harp on clients to do this constantly, and some do. And some go, well, I meant to, but I just haven't been, or there's a reason. Okay, fine. Maybe my recommendation isn't the right recommendation for you. That's okay. We can find something else. But one thing that I encourage clients to do is from day one of starting is to keep in your phone or wherever, if you journal, a list of the things that you have done. Right? Because if you're focusing, let's say my goal of this program is to figure my shit out, but lose weight. There's the but, right? But lose weight. Okay. But what have we done leading up to that? Because on the day, so say your weight spikes because it's Monday and you went out for a drink Saturday and then all that shit that usually happens. and then you start spiraling because your weight's up. Here is I call it's not objective because it's subjective things, but it's an objective list that you can visibly see, and you can see this is how I've made progress leading up until this point.
I kind of like the idea of making that a task in
You
the
should,
auto flow.
because even
like on a Friday.
So for example, I have it for myself when I went through my bulk, because if you haven't been through a bulk, it's very uncomfortable and it's very frightening, and it's very it's just a lot, and it's hard. It's really, really hard. But I had to find other ways that I was like making progress other than bulking, right? And so it was like, okay, I increased calories up to 2,500. I had experience with discomfort to increase calories and build phase. I said, and like at the end of the day, I only gained an inch in my waist, and I had gone up like 500 calories or something. I was able to see my strength improve. I set a lighter mental load with nutrition. I had a tighter ass. But those were things when I felt heavier or when I felt fluffy that I was not able to identify in that moment, right? Okay, well, let me look at my list, because at least I know there has been progress. I just don't feel it right now.
When you go back into that process, you know,
I know the expectation.
You know what to expect. You can look back like, oh, yeah, these are things I can expect, because we need to expect the discomfort too. Like if a program or a coach is like, this is going to be so easy and so simple, it's not. And so, you know, again, green flags, meeting you where you're at, finding your minimums, understanding how you can sustain this long term instead of these like restrictive diets, over exercise, which you guys heard about. And then again, creating that
I would
foundation.
Say yo-yo cycling with coaching. Like they are on the yo-yo cycle with coaches.
Oh yeah. The yo-yo diet, the yo-yo cycle. Oh yeah. I agree with that too. So hopefully this helps you guys weed out, you know, the coaches, the programs, the apps that are only going to keep you stuck. Again, the question to ask yourself at the end of the day is, am I doing anything different than I have before? And what's you're not answering that with is if it's a different exercise program. From a fundamental and like mental health aspect, like, does this look different in my life? And if it does not, that is not the coach for you.
Correct.
Cool?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So that's it. If you're interested in coaching with us, we will have 8 spots open in our coaching roster right now. Yeah. We don't usually have that. Now, there's 3 of us. And we all are trained in the mindset method. So, you'll get on the phone with one of us. Yeah. We'll decide who's the best coach for you, because we're all, as you can tell, very different.
Very.
And if you're interested in that, we have our link to our clarity call in the show notes. If you want to find us on social media, I'm at Mindset. What is my name?
Mindset of Matter.
Mindset of Matter Coaching. I know. Too much mindset.
I'm at fitbyamanda.az.
You can find us on YouTube to find the recorded versions of this at The Mindset of Matter, as well as TikTok at The Mindset of Matter. And remember,
what you say in the mind,
you see in the mirror. Goodbye.
Toodles.